Welcome to Flutespace, a platform created to show interesting stories related to life as a flutist and discovering inspiring content in form of a podcast. You can catch up with us on our Instagram at theflutespace, and you can listen to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and YouTube. All these links can be found in our link tree in the description. And if you want to support us, you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/theflutespace, or you can join us on Patreon.
On the 30th of October, the semi-final of the Concours de Genève is going to start. And in today's episode, we got to talk to one of the semi-finalists, Rafael Adobas Bayog.
And he shared with us his preparations for competitions, and specifically for this competition, and also about other creative projects
that he's doing. And he also shared with us how it was for him to be on the other side, to sit in a competition jury, which was very interesting to listen to. And we talked a lot about performing in general and what you can give the audience as a musician.
So we hope you enjoy.
So we're very happy to be here with Rafael Adobas today in our episode, and we want to congratulate you because you passed to the semi-finals of Genève Concours. How do you feel about
Yeah, thank you. And actually, I feel very, very good about it and very surprised at the same time. I mean, this round was quite tough. Probably one of the toughest rounds in the competitions I've done, just because of the quantity and the proportion of candidates they passed. We were 40 in the last round. And then, it happened to be that, they just wanted to hear 8 in the next round. So it's really a lottery in the end.
Yeah, it really is. And also, I mean, it's a huge program that you all played already, and to pick from that amazing musicians.
I mean, and all the musicians were so good. I listened to some of the videos, and like it must be so tough to choose just from them.
Yeah, but I guess it's the thing of competitions where, okay, it's just people just putting some marks and then, okay, here's the result. And
Yeah.
Well, but you recently were part of a jury for the Cluj competition. Was it your first time being in a jury?
yeah, definitely. It was my first time sitting and just having to put some marks on my own marks to some candidates. Yeah.
And how was that for you? And like, did you learn something from the process? For sure, it must be weird to then sit on the other side suddenly and having to choose.
Yeah, it was very weird at the beginning. For example, the first rounds, where it was quite a closed program, and I mean, anyways, it was a closed program during the whole competition. But I guess it's different when you sit on the other side, and for me, it helped me to prepare my future performances, and it really gave me an inspiration. And also, I was thinking, maybe it was just me, but I was thinking I really want to hear the best of the candidate. So I kept that in my mind, and then I said, okay, I think I have to give this feeling, and I have to have this feeling when I play. Like, okay, I have to think and I have to feel that the jury really wants the best for me at that moment. And that I was really feeling like, okay, it's this candidate's turn. Please, please, please.
Yeah, to really to trust your audience, I guess.
Yes.
And then really just focus on
performing and like giving. Or
Exactly. Also the energy of someone is super important. That's something I really learned. How you step on stage, how you communicate with your partner, how you communicate with even with yourself. Like when you do mistakes, or when you are playing so good and you are feeling the moment, how do you react to those feelings?
Yeah. And I think it's also super important to have a program where you feel confident and comfortable, also to be able to transport all of that. Like, how did you, for example, choose your program for
For
Genève?
this competition, it was quite special. because we had a close list at the first stages of the competition. But then moving on, we have, for example, 1 hour recital, and which we have to choose from ourselves, solo or with piano. And then there is chamber music, which is also quite definite, Baroque sonata, Jolivet with strings, and the commission piece. But also in the last round, in the online recital, you can already see what's the personality of the candidate. So for me, choosing the repertoire of a competition is definitely the most important step, I would say, because there you can show within your time, you have to show what are your strengths, and then okay, let's say to hide your weaknesses. This is our goal, no? Because everyone knows each other better. Instead of thinking of also, I had to compromise myself with pieces I really liked the most. Oh, I want to play this piece, I want to play this piece, I really love it, I enjoy it. But then I have to ask myself, does this piece really represent me as an artist? Is this really my style? Do I feel safe? Can I convey my ideas? And then the technical issues. Okay, for example, the forte in the low register is not my thing, or really the forte in the high register. So don't pick these pieces where, okay, these weaknesses are showing of more, I would say. And then, okay, always focus on the strengths. Focus on the strengths, and then the weaknesses will always appear somehow, but then you have more chances to develop the strengths, and the weaknesses come always itself, instead of okay, I want to challenge myself on the technical side, because I guess the technical side should be there anyways. You are already competing with high level profile musicians and flutists, especially. So it's more about your world, your music, and how you express your ideas.
Which piece was your favorite one from that round? Or is it too early?
From that round in the online recital, you mean the last one? I mean, each piece has really a meaning for me. I mean, the ballad from Matam Ballad I played it since I was 14, 13, so it was really always there. Furor, I played it last year in the ARD. It was one of the hardest pieces I had to play, so I really took time for it. And I would say between Gobert and Schulhoff, I think Gobert is definitely a discovery for this year. I think each year has a piece for me. I don't know for you guys. But this year was for me Gobert, and Schulhoff was maybe 2 or 3 years ago when I discovered it. So when I saw this list, Schulhoff, I said, okay, I have to play this piece because it's on me somehow.
And you were also gonna play a composition of your own. And we wanted to ask, how was the process of composing this piece?
So this piece, let's say it's more a collage somehow. It's not really an original piece of mine. Let's say I just put together some bits of this piece. And yeah, I had 2 months to prepare this piece. It was, let's say, an exercise, homework from the Nielsen competition back in 2019, where all the candidates, we had to put together different pieces from music from Nielsen and from flute repertoire. And the process was very interesting and very, it was a journey, I would say. And I was so happy to have done that, and to see how many people were involved in that process. It was not only me. I asked my many friends, many flutist friends, non-flutists, ex-teachers, my classmates at that time, and they were just giving me more ideas. I played for them. How would you do this? How would you do that? And every time I look into a certain part of the piece, I remember that person or that moment. So really, I have to say that was the most exciting part for me, to have that piece as a collaboration, because in the end, I mean, let's say with time, it's thanks to them, no, that I have this kind of journey.
Yeah, that must be so nice to now work on it again and remember all those moments when you like first were making the collage and putting everything together and then having all your friends
Yeah.
in the piece kind of like living in the memories. That's super nice.
It sounds like a very a special process, and also kind of maybe connected to performing arts. It seems like a very performative piece. Not that any other pieces are not performative, but it's kind of a bit more than that.
It's a piece of art in itself, you mean, because it's like
I guess.
put
Yeah.
together.
Yeah. I mean, I wanted specifically that piece to be like this because for example, in my high school years, I did performing arts gymnasium. So it's really an important part of my life, and also I've been performing like skits or plays with companies. So I really had to do it.
I mean, that sounds very exciting and like an enriching part of your musical career also. I think everyone should have that. Well, yeah, all of us who are performing should have that aspect as well, kind of to explore performances and
Yeah, because we're not just musicians. Like
Yeah.
we're on stage. We are performers.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's important to know about those things.
Well, another aspect of your work, it seems that you connect a lot of music with emotions. How do you develop that into practice?
I think an important factor of this is experience, because there are certain emotions, of course, that develop in different ways in the different stages of life. So I really believe that being experienced and being mature emotionally, that gives lots of variety. And then from this experience, we should be able to put words to define, and but not only one keyword. Okay, there should be a keyword, but there should be different details. And then, okay, let's say being strict on it while we're practicing. So okay, we stop in a section, and then constantly ask yourself, okay, what is this emotion at this moment? Is it pain? Is it anger? Is it happy? Is it sad? But it cannot be only happy or only sad. It can be sad with hope. It can be sad but nostalgic or alone. So definitely, it's this honest with facing these questions during the practice.
And where do you get input from? I mean, are you also working on these things with your teacher, or is it something that comes like from you?
Like naturally.
It's definitely my teacher is definitely a big help for this, and she's really pushing on, okay, but what do you hear in this moment? What is the feeling? And then of course she's also pushing on checking the harmony, on checking the rhythmic patterns that are going behind, because this can also give excitement. If there are like repeated notes, ta 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 ta, then it's kind of tension. Or if there is a long note, then it's a more peaceful section. And this, it's definitely biggest part. I have to say it's from my teacher, and then of course you have to bring your own interpretation.
And your teacher is
Andrea Liebknecht. Yeah.
Yes.
In Munich.
How is it to study in Munich?
Oh, it's definitely amazing. I was very, how would you say? Very lucky, of course, and very honored to be part of such a city, because it's really happening lots of lots of things, and I felt I was part of it. Like I was, okay, it's the city, there are things happening, and I'm involved in it, in the culture. I can go to the opera, I can go to watch concerts, to jam sessions, and also very lucky to be part of this amazing class, I have to say. From the very first minute, uh, I was totally in awe, constantly in shock, no, on the different kinds of players, kinds of personalities that Andrea was bringing to the class, and that richness, it gives a concrete atmosphere, which was very helpful.
I can imagine like being part of such a class where like everyone is really on like playing on such a high level. It helps you to like be focused and focus on your goals, but maybe it's also easy to get overwhelmed. Or like how did you manage to stay grounded and like to keep your path kind of?
Yeah, it's for sure overwhelming when it's this kind of atmosphere, and there are periods, there are phases. It's not always overwhelming. It's not always calm. It's not always stressful. So I think what I learned a lot, especially in my second year, it was when I started to feel, because I started being an exchange student, and then I became, let's say, like a real student, and I felt already like, okay, I think I'm real. I'm a real part of this. I'm not like just visiting. And yeah, at that point, I felt quite overwhelmed. But because of the information I was receiving, I had to learn German. I had to do these things. I have to do other things. And then I learned I had to spend more time with myself and with my friends. This was the key in every case. And maybe with time, I got more sensitive with this. So whenever my body is having a headache or something, or when each kind of pain, each everything, minimum sign of stress, definitely, yeah, it's a sign that, hey, you have to stop.
Yeah, that's important to listen to your body and like, to learn the signs.
And for some people it goes faster, for some people it goes slower. I think everyone has a different kind of timetable for themselves
Yeah.
to learn the signs of getting stressed.
How was it actually for you to learn German?
Quite hard at the beginning, my first year, because I wasn't expecting to stay in Germany, so I spoke English all the time, and I feel quite comfortable with my English, so I didn't have the need to speak German, let's say. Okay, I was Erasmus, and that was like my reason, like not to learn English, German. But yeah, on the second year, it went. I mean, I had to have the B1, so I took like maybe 2 3 months intensive course, and then let's say, yeah, then following year my teacher started speaking to me in one lesson. It was maybe the third or fourth lesson in German, the whole lesson, and then okay, that was a real headache, and it took me some time to get used to that. But then slowly, when you move into different groups or music groups, when you start doing gigs slowly or chamber music, then you see, okay, I have to learn German, and I will learn German at some point, even if I don't understand at this time.
But I guess I mean that's the way it has to go. Like you have to just like in your daily lessons and also with your friends and within rehearsals you have to just start to speak, because otherwise I mean it will always feel unnatural somehow. But
and it's difficult to listen at first for a language that's a bit unfamiliar.
you have to be so focused all the time. But
Yeah.
but nice that you managed.
What difference would you say is there between studying in Spain and in Germany or Munich in particular?
I would say the real focus into a performing studium, a performing degree. I think in Spain they gave uh, too much weight on them. In the program you have really a lot of theory lessons, and it's not possible to skip. They kind of don't understand that you also have a performing life, let's say. And in Germany, I felt they were more respectful with this. Maybe the first years are quite stressful with some theory stuff, but they give you space, and they understand that you're performing. I have the feeling. And even if you have a job, or if you want to have a break from studies, you can always apply for holiday semester, let's say, where it's kind of freezing that semester and you don't lose that semester. You can apply even up to 4 semesters, I think. So it's 2 years. If you have a contract somewhere, and but you still want to keep your place as a student, you can do it. So this flexibility I didn't find so much in Spain, unfortunately.
Okay, that's really interesting and also maybe practical for anyone listening.
Yeah.
And we also know that you did your academy at the Royal Stockholm Philharmonic Orchestra. And how was that?
Oh, that was really an amazing experience. It was very intense. It's 1 year program. It goes very fast. There are many subjects, and not subjects, seminars, and many chances to play with the orchestra as well as with chamber music. Almost every month there was a program where we even had to moderate and to present the pieces, and then of course the lessons with whoever you wanted from the orchestra. And even myself, I got the chance to play, I would say, even more than second flute. I played more as a first flute, and that was really a good practice. Also, I had the other solo flutist was listening to the rehearsals, for example, and was giving me feedback on how to behave. And
That's amazing to being guided through to this, because otherwise, if you don't get any guidance, you get called, oh, wait, a solo flute.
yeah,
Then it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
super
Actually, my
stressful.
second week playing, that it was like this because the solo flute got sick and the co-solo also got it was sick. Both were sick somehow, and I had to jump in to play Shostakovich 9.
Which is not such a small
And
piece at all.
no, really. But I mean, I was assigned to play as a second flute that week, so I kind of knew the piece, but not the solos, of course, and not the other important sections. And it happened that the guest that was supposed to come as first flute, she had to come after the break, so no one was sitting on the first flute, and there were like small solos already at the symphony. So the conductor at that time, Sakari Oramo, he told me, okay, can you sit please on the first flute? I said, okay, let's see. I mean, let's see. No, I was stressed, of course, but I learned. I kind of enjoyed.
I was stressed on the inside, super confident on the outside, for sure. Like, no
Yeah,
problem.
always. Yeah, yeah. In these kind of situations, it's good to know where is your center, no, and how to behave.
And also to trust in your abilities and not to just go crazy.
And what is your favorite project from that academy?
It's hard to say. One of my favorite projects was the week with Don Kopman, which we played Haydn symphonies uh, for one flute, for two flutes also, and I was playing also principal flute that week, and I really I love Baroque music. I'm a big fan of it, and that week was really nice in a small format, like in a chamber orchestra. But another great weeks, it was 2 weeks in a row. It was with Franz Welsenmust, and we did like Bruckner 9 and Fifth Symphony from Prokofiev. Those weeks were very special for me.
You just said that you love Baroque music. You also do play Traverso,
Yes,
right?
yes. Since some years, but yeah, I'm also doing a bachelor in Munich. Yes, it's with Marion Treupel Frank, and yeah, it's a super nice program and department in the Hochschule, in the school.
How do you manage to find time to practice for
I
that?
always try to see. Maybe I should dedicate more time, of course, but I try to see as a relaxing part of my practice. So whenever I say, okay, I got enough of the flute, or I got enough of the technical stuff and the more stressful things to learn, then comes the baroque flute. Okay, what do I have to prepare for the next lesson? Okay, is this Locatelli sonata? Okay, just have it on the stand, play a bit, and it's so much fun to discover.
And something unrelated to that, but performing in different countries, what what is your impression of different audiences, like from different countries? Who is more susceptible to a performance or
Oh,
less?
yeah, I would say. Oh, this is such an interesting question. For example, this year I played in Japan, and I really admired how the people were so respectful. Like really, you can see just the head standing like this, and really not moving, not doing any noises. It was so quiet, and then they just clap at the end, and they really appreciate that kind of performance. And for instance, in Spain or Italy, in the south, I have the feeling it's more raw. Let's say, okay, if I want to move, I have to move. If I want to eat a candy, I will eat a candy and make some noise. If I want to whisper something to my mom, wow, this is beautiful, then I will just say it out loud.
Mostly in the most pianissimo moment, no? That's when you take out the candy.
Exactly. But then, for example, they are super enthusiastic after a performance. Wow, and then they start screaming, bravo, woo. They're really into it, into the celebration moment.
It's also interesting to see like which audiences are going to be more for audience participation, and which audiences are going to be scared and
Yes.
stuck.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, related to audiences, we asked our audience if they have some questions for you. And Frederic Sanchez, well, first he says hi to you. And he asked a question that I think is very interesting and maybe also tricky to answer. But he asked, what can we offer to the audience for them to feel excited to come to our concert more than just music? Like, what can we give to them as a performer?
I think we kind of answered this question before, and we said the keyword emotion. So I think it's giving a complete experience to the audience, which is not only waves, sound waves coming through, should be waves with something, and these kind of emotions, it's starting with our breath already, on how nervous do we feel on that day, and how much effort and how many hours did we spend on thinking on that phrase, on which energy would I like to give, is it which energy, which emotion. So I guess this is the thing we can only offer, because if the emotion is there and the emotion comes through, can be make it positive or negative to the audience. You can have, of course, negative feedback, but if it's raw and if it's coming from you, I think you made something good, and the people may want to come back to your next concert.
Yeah, I think that's a super nice answer.
Yeah.
I hope Frederic will be happy with this.
Another question we got was, what do you do in your free time besides flute?
And besides flute and traverso practice to relax from the flute. I hope you also relax from the traverso practice.
Yeah. I mean, I used to take long walks, for example. I call friends. I like dancing a lot, like to any kind of music. But I like going out, hanging out with them. In the evening, at night, we go to pubs or to clubs. I like clubbing. And yeah, I like eating also, I have to say. So, I mean, who doesn't?
Yes.
Yeah.
And eating is something very nice.
Well, we can now ask you fire questions. So it's 3 questions that we ask everyone. The first question is, which soundtrack would you choose for your life?
This is me from The Greatest Showman, I would say. Do you know, guys, this song?
Very nice.
Yes.
I would, yeah, I don't know. It's I would say something also from Michael Jackson, for example. I mean, from his This Is Us, from his no, This Is Us is the name of the film, the tribute to no.
Oh,
Oof.
Or
No,
Mike
I
yes.
think we have to
research.
Dig into
But
that. Yes.
no, it's
Do
not
some
This Is
research.
Us. It's
But okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Greatest Showman is a good choice. The next fire question: which is your favorite orchestral piece?
oh, Dvorak 8. I would say.
Nice choice.
It's difficult, eh? But yeah, that's first one.
Do you have any dream project you would like to do?
Of course, I have lots of fantasies, but my dream project is to put together all the friends and all of my influences, which I had direct contact with from the music world and also from the performing world, non classical, from the pop music, jazz, everyone, and the same concert, and to have them on stage with me.
That's so nice.
That-
What would you perform then?
Yeah, so I would perform, everything would be a collage for sure. That's the main point. And yeah, all the friends have like different specialties. Like I have flamenco friends, I have performing arts, like theater, acting, like actors, which are actors, and I have friends also jazz musicians, and I would do kind of a storyline, let's say, something that's happening, which is the common point of each piece, and then the last piece should be everyone on stage.
Oh, so a
Let's
huge
go.
fusion project.
Yeah.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
multidisciplinary, big show.
Yes, but I would still maintain the flute as a main focus. This is my thing. I would play traverso, for example, of course. Yeah, different kinds of flutes.
Wow. Well, let us know if you will do that because we will of course come.
Yeah, we really hope this happens.
Yeah.
It has to. Now it's been said, so
We have it recorded.
Yes.
use your words.
Said and recorded. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us and for replying to all of our questions. I think it was very interesting to get an insight into how you think of performing and also your competition preparation.
Yeah, and all of the things that you are doing, and also good luck on the Genève competition.
We have our fingers crossed for you.
And like that you have strength and everything to go through the program and everything. So yeah.
Thank you so much.
So another episode ends, but continues on Patreon, where Rafael will answer some more audience questions, more in depth about his practice and competitions and
Warm-up routine.
more interesting stuff.
So, if you're interested into that, see you on Patreon.